you get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
What's this?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me as always is my co-host, Christopher from another Mistifer. How you doing, buddy?
Of course I'm a bloody doctor. I'm talking to Steve No Evil over here.
Oh, okay. That's a callback.
Yes.
We should just dive in, because I feel like Mac from It's Always Sunny, because I got news.
I have good news.
Oh.
Do you mind if we dive in?
Yes, dive in. I want to hear it, buddy.
All right. Most exciting of which, 28 years later trailer, buddy. Did you partake?
I did. Two different folks send it to me.
It's
and
good.
It's real good.
I think we should probably have an award for best trailer of the year, because this one would win it. I tell you what.
I know. Whoever
best
made
trailer
that.
I've seen in years.
Yeah, just sync to the music and you're something done. You know, it's just real captivating.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what that is? I did some research. It's actually a recitation of Rudyard Kipling's poem Boots. A poem about
boots with the fur?
Exactly. That's what Kipling was talking about.
That's what I assumed.
It's about British soldiers in war and the kind of repetition that they go through. And fun fact about it, it was actually used as a torture technique, training Navy SEALs to play that audio over and over again. And I loved it, man. That atmosphere of the trailer just gives you such an uneasy feeling, and it's just so good. A lot of people have done videos on it already, but there's a couple of shots that I want to talk with you that stood out to me that just got me so jazzed.
Was it seeing Kraven again? Was that one of them?
Oh, yeah, Kraven's in this. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Hopefully he can redeem himself. Yeah.
Oh, spoiler.
There's one shot. There's a camera on a zombie's back. Did you see that? Where it's just a split second. It's just a gross shot, but it looked really cool. There's another kind of shot where you see these towers of bones. You see that bit?
Yeah, Twin Towers, yeah.
Yeah. No, but there's really cool storytelling just with those couple of shots, because you see these towers of bones, there's 50 feet tall, and you have to ask yourself, you're how did those bones get there, you know?
Yeah.
Was it the zombies that did there? Who put them there? Why are they there? And it just it teases you to no end, and I am just itching, craving, if you will.
You seen the other two? Days and Weeks? You seen them?
I saw Days not too long ago. It's very timely, but really good for its for the time. Yes. And then I don't remember Weeks much. I'll have to go back to it. But from what I remember, I think I like Days better. What about yourself?
I started Days once years ago. Me and the wife, we were just newlyweds, and we bought one of those Shein projectors that they ship it, and it ends up being about 2 inches by 2 inches, you know?
Yeah.
And the speaker, you basically got to put your ear to it to hear. And I remember that was the first movie we tried watching, and couldn't get through the first 10 minutes because, I couldn't really see, couldn't really hear. It was a bye-bye situation. Don't say it, don't think it. But that movie actually, I don't know if you knew this, it still doesn't have a digital release.
I heard that, yeah. It's only physical copies are in circulation. So,
but supposedly before the years, they're going to, before 28 years, they're going to digitally release 28 Days. So I think I'm going to wait till the closer to that comes out and then watch them through.
Very good. Chris, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Are you a fan of Legends?
Sure. Legend of Zelda, Legend of Tarzan.
What about Karate Kid's Legends?
Not so much. Has it got Jaden in it?
We got, we're talking Karate Kid Legends trailer for those who are not familiar. It's got Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio. I saw a comment on the YouTubes. It said, post-credit scene is Jaden Smith walking into the dojo and telling the new kid, I'm here to talk to you about the Karate Kid initiative. That'd be pretty good.
That would be fun.
Yeah, you know what I like about this, Chris? We finally get a lore-accurate Karate Kid. You know what I mean? Insofar as he's Chinese.
A lore-accurate. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks pretty good. What do you think? You jazzed for it?
I didn't watch it, and I know you asked me and you sent it.
Oh my gosh.
But I told my wife she won't let me watch until I watch the original, and I ain't never seen it, so I didn't want to get on her bad side. She won't even let me watch the trailer here, so...
How embarrassing.
How long we got till this movie comes out?
I think it's probably like May or June of next year, so you got time, Christopher.
I'll watch them all, and then I'll watch the trailer. I just don't want to get no spoilers here.
Sure. I can tell you, I don't think there's anything spoiling. It's just a bunch of...
Well, you told me Jackie's in it.
That's not a spoiler. He's in the poster.
Well, that's a spoiler.
How's okay?
I know it's got Jackie and Ralph from the poster, and I assume the Asian's their kid, was my assumption.
Yeah. Yes.
So what else is there to watch?
That's true, I guess.
All right.
Chris, do you like Harry Potter?
I do love Harry Potter.
Boy, we got some news about the HBO series coming out here.
Oh, yes.
Mostly casting rumors. They're nothing confirmed yet, nothing set in stone. However, there's a few that I want to talk to you about. I think they're kind of throwing things at the wall and just kind of seeing what sticks on the internet.
Seeing if anyone will bite.
Yeah, and people are bitten. There's oh yeah, let me tell you. So Ralph Fiennes, who was the OG Voldemort,
yes,
he said he's in support of a fan casting of Cillian Murphy for the new Voldemort.
For Vold? I can see that.
He said Cillian's a fantastic actor. It's a wonderful suggestion. I would be all in favor of Cillian. Yeah, and I'm sure he's like, now go watch my movie Conclave.
yeah.
Quit asking me about Harry Potter. Also, we have Dumbledore. We have Mark Strong as a suggestion. What do you think of that?
I mean, I like Mark, so nothing wrong with that.
We also have Mark Rylance. Rylance?
Oh,
he's from, you know him, BFG.
We're going to war, George.
Yeah. For those who don't know, he was in Dunkirk.
Yeah.
he was the one who told Cillian, you're going to go die in Dunkirk. I think that's a better casting choice if you ask me.
I think I'd prefer that. I like the lad.
Mm-hmm. We got more. Hagrid has been rumored.
Can I guess? Let's see. Sure. You said something. I'm going to say a big hairy man. We're talking CGI Robin Williams. What are we talking?
Ooh, that was the original plan.
I don't know. You tell me.
Brett Goldstein.
Who the gypsy is Rhett Goldstein?
He's there. He's here. He's every bloody where.
That makes sense, actually. He is
Roy
a hairy
Kent
man.
From Ted Lasso. Yeah.
You remember that Ted Lasso episode when the blonde...
Hannah Waddingham?
Hannah, yeah. She's yelling out there. She says, you get your hairy ass in here. And something. He looks at the locker room and he's... You all know I don't have a hairy ass.
and none of you said anything.
And none of you said anything. So anyways, Hagrid, that makes sense.
Yeah. I always pictured him as just like a brown version of Santa Claus that's 7 feet tall. So I don't know.
That's true.
We'll see how that goes. Professor McGonagall, Rachel Weisz from The Mummy fame, Constantine.
You got to get those Brits in there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, Sharon Horgan. You might know her from Game Night. You remember the movie Game Night?
I remember that. The redhead.
Yeah, she's got
to be a Weasley. Isn't she a redhead?
She is redhead, but
must
movie
be a
magic
Weasley.
Yeah. So she's rumored to be in there, and that's fine. I couldn't, that's whatever. It's no Maggie Smith.
Is this just Harry Potter and all, like the whole Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking.
This is all for all the TV series.
Going through the books here, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have the most controversial potential casting for Severus Snape. Now, names have been thrown about for years. Adam Driver was one. It's
definitely got to be Adam Driver, man.
Well, the one that's caused the most talk, his name is Papa Isidou. Totally butchered that name.
French?
He's British. He's from The Lazarus Project, if you ever seen that.
Nah, man.
Some people are up in arms because he has a slightly darker complexion, as was described in the books. Let me show you a picture of him.
What's wrong with that, Steve?
Yeah.
So he's black, for those that can't see.
Yes, I showed
And
a picture.
Snape in the movies isn't. I don't remember in the books if they say he's white or black. Do they?
If I recall, I think she says he's like ghost-like white.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything up for interpretation.
So a Snow White situation where
Snow
Snow Oh, skin as white as snow.
Yeah.
I got a solution I think will make everyone happy.
Shoot.
We don't cast him as Snape. We get a white guy as Snape, but we cast him as Sirius Black.
Hey.
Is that I think we can we all...
That's a win-win for me, yeah.
I think that's what we do here.
That's why I like you, Chris. Thinking on your toes,
Yeah.
Logical,
Yes.
appealing to everyone. I love it.
I think you got to do Driver, man. I think everyone's first reaction when Kylo Ren shows his face in that Star Wars, because no one had seen him really before that. Everyone's just like, is that Snape? Like, I'm pretty sure that thought crossed everyone's mind. And it's just like, this has got to be his kid or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's too good to be true. You won't find another man like that.
Apparently, this iteration is going for like the most book accurate representation.
We
of
know
the,
that's not true. I mean,
yeah.
come on.
I mean,
what are we doing here?
That's kind of what people are saying. Like, they're like, you kind of marketed this as this is going to be so accurate to the books because the movies weren't really that accurate, and this is going to be a seven season series. So it's like each season will cover one book.
Except the seventh book, they're going to split in 2 seasons, I'm sure.
But people are like, if you're going to be book accurate, why not? You know, it's a very simple thing you could get. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I can see both sides. But if the guy can pull off Snape, then I don't really care.
Yeah.
In the end, it's a kid's book and the world will spin on its axis all the same. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Everyone loved Alan Rickman as Snape. But if you read the books, like... Yeah, Snape's like this conniving weasel. Basically make him sound like he's disgusting, he's ugly, and we know anything about Alan Rickman. Yeah. He's not disgusting or greasy or ugly. He's like charming, got a nice little suave to him versus what he's supposed to be. Now, I think Adam Driver can pull. I mean, he's attractive, but I think you could throw on a boil there and he looks like a witch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he can pull off the school shooter look that's described in the books.
Exactly. That's what we're talking.
The greasy long hair over his eyes, the hook-shaped nose, you know, he's got it. He can do it. Regardless of any of this, this movie or this show will be successful. Everyone's going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because here's what I think is they're doing, Christopher. I tell you a thing or two. You're going to get people who are dedicated to books see this regardless, right?
Yes.
You're going to get YouTubers who love to hate on things, watch it, and do videos, make money. And then you're going to get the curious people kind of like us who are just like, hey, I kind of liked Harry Potter growing up. Let me check this out, you know, because we like, it's fine. We'll check out a new version. They're going to get everyone, Chris. It's going to be a huge
and
show.
Also, think of it this way. Is the people that grew up watching Harry Potter, their kids are probably of that like 6, 7, 8, you know, like they're getting of that age where it's like, it was probably what the Philosopher or Sorcerers came out like 2001. So it's been 25 years. So now these people have kids that were their age when they first introduced, and they got the same type of thing because everyone remembers the yearly tradition of when the Harry Potter came out. Everyone saw it. Everyone was excited. And and back then they had the books that were still coming out. Did you ever go to any of those?
No, but I had a friend who did. I guess it was like Black Friday, just mosh pit. Everyone grabbing their little mitts on those books, I tell you what.
Yeah. It was literally just like, you'd grab a book off a shelf, but still, you know. And they'd have the day and you'd stay up all night reading and such. And now you get a little bit of that to bring to the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
definitely.
My daughter, when does this come out? 2 years next year?
Probably a couple of years, yeah.
So, I mean, she's going to be watching this. I'm going to be like, well, we'll watch this episode. We'll go back to the movie. Let's compare. We'll pull out the old book here, make a full, season out of this. And
yeah,
I think it's going to really, and then it's going to get that younger generation into it. It's going to be big. Huge.
Speaking on that, one last item for Harry Potter, they've been auditioning kids for the big 3, Ron, Harry, Hermione. How many kids do you think they have auditioned for those 3 roles? Just a guess.
Oh, it's got to be thousands. 8K.
Close. 32,000.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Now people are asking why so many youngsters, and I have an answer to that question. It's you need to find a couple of things. You need to find kids whose parents are willing to disrupt their childhood, pretty much ruin them for the rest of their lives, especially with social media. I tell you what, these kids' lives, they're going to be just ruined.
Yeah.
Like no other. I mean, look at those Disney kids.
I know. It's kind of impressive because all the Harry Potter actors, like, they're all pretty straight shooters. Like, none of them, I mean, you get a crab, marathon bombing incident, but 1 out of 8 ain't bad.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, 32,000 kids. So all this to say, we're excited for it, and hoping it'll be good, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, that was basically all their first acting, right? I would assume, because they're like 7 years old.
Yep, could barely write.
So hopefully we get a same repeat as the original here.
Moving on, Chris.
Yes.
Jeremy Allen White,
yes,
the bear, joins the new Star Wars
Snape,
movie.
If you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
They all three have a very similar characteristic. Sorry, what were you saying about him?
Good. He's going to be in the new Star Wars movie.
Ah.
So when you think of Jeremy Allen White and Star Wars, you probably think of like, ooh, what kind of cool role is he going to play?
Like a coked out Han Solo or something.
Yeah. The answer, he will be voicing the character of Jabba the Hutt's son named Rata the Hutt.
Rata. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is episode 10 here?
I think this is a Grogu and Mando movie. So a movie to a series that fizzled out and nobody cared about.
Fair enough.
So his image won't be tainted, but his voice will. I'm just here for the YouTube edits that'll happen when that comes out and they can put Carmi's voice over.
Yeah.
Get off my expo now. Yeah. So that's coming.
Hands. I need hands.
Hands, yeah. I got a couple more. Chris Evans returning as Captain America in Avengers Doomsday.
Oh, Captain America, huh?
Yes. Does this scream desperation or not?
So I think the one thing they got to go for is nostalgia and they just got to make it as similar to the other Avengers as they can. Because everything post that, besides like a Deadpool, no one's really liked.
It's kind of disappointing because I feel like they should have had a better plan going forward, and it feels like they're just trying to feed you something that you're familiar with. Like, when you go to a restaurant with your toddler, and you're like, hey, let's try something new, and they put a plate in front of you, and you're like, look, it's got chicken nuggets. It's like, you like chicken nuggets, right? Like, it's the same thing. Just
give me milk.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like, I wish they would have just done something completely new and had new actors, but we'll see it. We'll watch it.
Oh, with the Avengers? Well, I think maybe their plan was to because they did all these Eternals and Shang-Chi and Marvel Girl, but no one liked any of those. So they're like,
I would have liked to see Shang-Chi.
Well, how about the other 2 that I mentioned with 8 different characters, huh?
I stand by my statement.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to do some speed round. How about that? Because we got a couple more, but I don't want to waste your time or the listeners.
Sure.
Speed round. The Batman 2. Scarecrow and Clayface are the main villains.
Ooh, Clayface. I feel like we were just speaking of the lad.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's going to be Alan Tudyk again or if he's going to, I don't know what that is, but cool villains. I like him. Austin Butler, cast as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho.
Ooh, Patrick Bateman.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like Austin and his butler. They're both good people.
What's that other Jason Bateman. For some reason, I was just like, they're making all right, American Psycho. Sorry. Just clicked. I'm like, all right, I can kind of see it.
Austin Butler cast as Jason Bateman biopic.
Yeah, I was just like, did he die? Did I miss that? What's going on?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he plays a good creep in Dune, which is probably one of his most recent films. So that should be good, I'd say.
Yeah. Wicked 2 title officially announced.
Is it The Wickening?
The Wickening. No, close. That would have been better. It's called Wicked for Good.
Oh, Wicked for Good.
Yep.
Could have done Wicked Smart, John Wicked.
Smart, yeah. Oh, yeah. You need to be a consult on these movies. I tell you a thing.
Say what you will. The more I talk about this movie to other people, the more I'm like, I want to see the second. I'm going to watch the second one. If I can get to it without it spoiled, because people would be like, "Oh, you don't know what happens," and I'm like, "Don't spoil it." And they're like, "Well, you're in for a treat," and I'm like, "All right, don't tease me like this."
If we can both go in blind 11 months from now, that would be a feat, because I don't know what's happening either.
Yeah, I actually watched Wizard of Oz, kind of. The wife had never seen it, and it was kind of on the background. But after watching that, I'm even more confused about the whole Wicked thing and all my projections. But all right, cool.
And then one last one that I'm just jazzed, stoked up for.
Sure.
Malcolm in the Middle revival happening to Disney, coming to Disney Plus.
Coming on Disney Plus, huh?
Yep.
So we're talking Cody Banks himself. Frankie Muniz.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Bryan Cranston.
He's back.
Talking that kid with the big ears.
Dewey.
Christmas at the Cranks kid. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. From my understanding, I saw a post and it was Bryan Cranston, Jane, what's-her-bucket, the mom, and Frankie Muniz. And they're like, we're back. It's happening.
Are you going to watch?
Oh, yeah. I love Malcolm in the Middle. I love it.
All right.
More than you, Chris. I love it.
You did love it more than me. I seen a few apps, but I wasn't religious with it. I couldn't even tell you the name of the characters besides there's this boy Malcolm and something's happening in his middle.
You should watch. I feel like us growing up around that same time, you would be like, oh man, that reminds me of my childhood and XYZ. But yeah, that was our church. I tell you what, my brother and I would run home after school, run downstairs and go watch 2 episodes of Malcolm in the Middle. I'd have my ham and cheese sandwich and he would have his peanut butter and chocolate sandwich, and we'd just watch it right there. I'll tell you what, man, that was a good time. It was a good show. I'll tell you what.
Well, I remember watching that show. I put it on an episode and I just remember it was Malcolm and he's sitting in, I don't know, some class and the teacher's like, do you notice the differences or like what's wrong? I think it was like driver's ed or something. He's like, well, the thermometer or the speedometer's off here, this here. And there's paint on my ass. Do you remember this?
That's the pilot episode. Yeah.
Oh. That's when
he finds out he's smart. He's a genius. Yeah.
I was a wee lad, and my mother, she heard that word, and she said, "Not in this home, son." So then I never seen it really since. Yeah.
If she could see you now,
I
just know. Swearing up a storm.
Please, I'm sorry, mother. Forgive me.
That's all the news I got, Chris. Sorry. We just had so much news. I haven't seen you for a while, so it's just accumulated.
Yeah.
Yeah. What news you got for me?
You know, I'm thinking I'll probably save it for the next pod because we kind of have to do a couple, and I don't want this one to be super long because
fair enough.
We were gone on vacay, and I apologize right now for this episode being a couple days late.
That's okay. Well, then should we just move on and I can ask a question?
Sure.
What you been watching, Chris?
Well, I saw Wizard of Oz, which I talked about. I had previously thought in Wicked that it's like, oh, this person is the scarecrow, this person's going to be the lion. But in Wizard of Oz, it's like it shows who they are in the beginning, and they show the witch as like a neighbor. But then
you're talking about like, what's her name?
Dorothy. And
Dorothy's sepia tone world, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Because I just got more confused because it makes it seem like Dorothy goes there and then it shows like maybe it's like a wormhole thing. I don't know. But anyways, it was the Wizard of Oz. Nothing crazy there. But then I saw a film, Arnold and Danny DeVito.
Twins.
Twins. We got twins. You seen this?
No.
Oh, I broke my rule because I think this came out in 1990. So it was years before I was born. And it was fine. I didn't really love it per se, but it was, I give it like a 1, I'd say. 1 minute standing O. Some funny parts, but overall, I mean, it's not the best.
Sure.
And then I went yesterday to the theater, Mystery Monday, and I watched a film, The Fire Inside. You heard of this?
The Fire Inside. I think I saw a poster walking into Kraven, but I don't recall.
It's this.
Oh, wait. Is it the black girl boxing?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the Mrs. Snape boxing.
Yeah.
And
the trailer was good.
I'm a sport nut. I love a sport movie, inspirational, based off a true story. And this is one of those. So I liked it. It was kind of funny because based off a true story, her going in the 2012 Summer Olympics for women's boxing. And you know how in the movies they try to stack it up like, oh, this is, unheard of, the greatest underdog story ever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The way they do it in the movie, they're like doubting her. They're like, U.S. hasn't won a gold medal in boxing since 2004. It's 2012, which if you know elections, it's like 4 years in between. So it's like they won a gold. They didn't win it the next time. There's no way. Would be unprecedented if they won a gold this time. I think they said something like they've only won it gold 3 times in the last 20 years. I'm like, that's like a 60% win rate here, you know?
Yeah.
That's like a 3-to-1 KD we're talking, you know? But anyways, that one was fun. I give that like a, 2.5 minute standing O. I like the sport type, but then it could have ended like 45 minutes earlier. But then they go into the whole, like, she's trying to get the equal pay and all this, which I don't mind it being the movie or whatever, but I wish it was more of the actual sport, per se. But that's all I watched, Steve. How about you? You watch anything?
Chris, it's Christmas season, holiday time, so I've been just steeped in all the holiday movies. My wife and I watched The Family Stone. It's always a good one.
Never heard of it.
It's a star-studded cast. It's a fun watch. But one that I want to talk about, Hot Frosty.
Oh, you watched?
We broke down. We were on Netflix. We watched The Princess Switch 1 and 2 and couldn't deal with the third one. So I said, let's watch this one.
Okay.
You know, Christmas movies have a low bar.
Yeah.
But this one set a new low, let me tell you. The worst Christmas movie I have ever seen.
Okay.
By a margin. Quite a wide margin there, Chris.
Yes.
It's just so bad. So you've seen the trailers. There's a lonely single woman, widow, who owns a diner. Yes, Mean Girls. She's just lonely and
her husband's, I don't know if that's a spoiler. I've seen part of this movie.
We can spoil it. Don't just go for it.
Husband died from chemo or cancer or something, and she puts on I only saw like the first 20 minutes. She puts on a scarf on a snowman, and he turns like a man, and he's naked, and he's running, and I assume they end up together. Who knows?
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
That's yeah. Exactly what you think is going to happen happens, but the way they do it is just egregious. You know, it's First of which, I know you can't control your looks, but if the title of the movie's called Hot Frosty, you should get a hot guy.
That was my wife's complaint. She's like, because everyone is, oh man, he's so hot, and he's got a nice bod, but he's not attractive, really. Like his
Jeremy Allen White situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's haunting to look at.
Yeah.
It would be fun to watch with a group of friends and just like make fun of it. People like the Hot Frosty because he's nice. He's a real nice dude. But there's... Oh, Craig Robinson's in it. You know Craig Robinson?
Oh, yeah.
Daryl.
And Boyle's in it.
Oh, yeah, Charles Boyle. Daryl, he's grossly miscast as like this no-nonsense sheriff.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like this comedic element, but it's like, I know this guy's funny. Like, I know he's funny.
Yeah.
But this just doesn't work, and it's hard to watch. Boyle's just playing Boyle. Like, this is what happens to Boyle after the events of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, pretty much. But yeah, it's real stupid, real bad. If you want to torture yourself or make fun of a movie with your friends, then do that. But there are better Christmas movies out there. But yeah, that's kind of all I've been watching. But do you want to dive in?
Yeah.
Chris?
Let's get into this.
In yellow glowing lion eyes first to Kraven the Hunter, if you will.
Yes.
Chris, all mediocre things must come to an end.
Uh-huh.
And this was the last movie of the Sony universe.
Officially?
Set of movies, I don't know what they call them. Officially, yep. They said it's dead. So no more Venom, Madam Web, Morbius, any of those. It's all done. Should we just like do spoilers here?
Sure. It's been
by
over
the time
a
this
week.
Comes out, yeah. If you've seen it, you've seen it. So what we'll do is kind of go over some plots and then maybe give us some recommendations. We'll go into some cons and then we'll finish on some air quote high notes. And then we'll call it a day. But Chris, you want to give just like a quick breakdown of this?
Yeah. So
thing.
You got Kraven. His name is Nikolai or something.
Sergey.
He's Russian, but he's living in New York with his brother, who is that creepy guy from Gladiator 2, the creepy, incestuous twin.
Yeah, plays the same
same type of guy. Yep. It flashes back to when like 16 or something in high school, and their dad, Russell Crowe, takes them on a hunting trip. He's hunting. There's some real big lion, king of the jungle. It's the legend. It killed over 24 men. No one can kill it. And it ends up attacking Kraven, and he gets dragged out. And side story, there's this Calypso girl who just happens to be there. And the scene before, her grandma's like, hey, here's some secret juice here. You can give it to someone and it'll heal them. And then she gets some inspiration to find him in the jungle, and he's all beaten up from the lion, and she puts a few drops in him, and I guess it mixes with the lion blood from it biting him, and he turns into Kraven the Hunter. He's got these beast-like powers where he can jump real high and he can see real far, and he gets these yellow eyes. And in case you forget, it'll show you every 5 minutes of the film. He just kills everyone that's like his dad, because he doesn't like his dad. His dad's a real Russian mafia guy, killing all those people. He's got a list,
checking it twice.
And he also really hates the people that hunt animals. So people will come to his, because he's living in Serbia or something. Siberia.
Yeah.
Anyone that's hunting the animals not to kill, he's like, all right, I'm killing you. So basically it's just a bunch of that. And then Rhino shows up. He's another Russian dude. He's got some rhino powers, which apparently he got it. Did you recognize the actor for him?
No. Should I have? Was he anything?
He was in Jurassic Park 3.
What is he playing?
He's the guy that saves the kid when he's on his little paraglide thing. He steals
That's him?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is. Billy, I think his name is.
Billy?
Billy.
Dr.
Oh.
Where Dr. Grant's like, everyone does things with the good intentions, or that thing, you know? That's him?
He steals the eggs. I'm pretty darn sure.
What a fall from grace.
I thought it was.
Can I look it up?
You look it up. When
Okay.
it first showed it, it was kind of dark and I couldn't see his face, but I could hear his voice. And for a good 3 minutes, I thought it was Zorro. What's his name?
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio. I thought it was Antonio Banderas. I was like, I got a haircut.
It is him.
It is him.
It's Billy. Wow, what a fall from grace, Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, Billy.
Yeah, so he's Rhino. I guess he was in some trials to make you stronger, and it turns him into Rhino with like a steel body with a horn, but he's got to have some sort of colostomy bag thing that he hooks up to turn him human, so he's just wearing that. And he doesn't like being Rhino because it really hurts. But occasionally he'll be Rhino. A bunch of killing that ends up with a fight between Kraven versus Rhino. And they're out in the safari. Rhino ends up dying. And I totally thought it was a missed opportunity. They should have done a Spider-Man 2 game. You ever play that? It's the first level, you fight Rhino and you got to have him run past you and run into the generators and shock himself. I thought for sure they were going to do something like that, but he just ends up poking him right where his enema hole is, and just ends up killing him. And then he finds out Russell Crowe, his father, is he's basically the one that got his brother. His brother gets kidnapped. I guess that's part of it. He's the one that's kind of behind all of it. And so he has a bear. He lets a bear kill his father. And then at the end, he's, hey, brother, you're alive, And then you find out the brother is like, oh, I went and saw a doctor. He really helped me. And then he shapeshifts and he turns into a chameleon. And then it ends. Well, actually, it ends with his dad writing him a letter, I guess, before he was dying. Like, hey, you're just like me. Take this cool vest. And it's the Kraven.
Cool. Quote cool, yeah.
Kraven lion fur vest, and then it ends.
Why didn't it have the lion's head? It just had the mane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he sits down at the mirror like Kraven sits down. He looks at himself in the mirror and said, I'm Kraven. Gosh darn it.
I'm Kraven.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Let's get into it, huh? I got notes, let me tell you. Well, first of all, let me ask you something.
Yes.
Where's this rank on the Sony Universe movies?
Well, I think we're going to fight on this a bit.
Let's do it.
I didn't hate the movie, Steve.
Okay.
I thought it was actually pretty decent. Maybe it's because I heard it had 11% on Rotten Tomatoes and everyone was trashing it. I saw a little sneak peek because we were planning for a future episode of where we're kind of going through our end of the year movie awards. And I saw you had put this on the worst films. And I said, and this was before I even seen the film. And I'm like, oh dear.
Me too.
And then I watched it. I was like, that's actually not bad. If you ask me, I think this is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the first Venom's probably better, but I like this better than Venom 3. I liked it better than Venom 2. Definitely better than Madam Web. I never saw Morbius, but I assume it's better than that. Am I missing any other ones?
No, it's the Venoms, Madam Web, and Morbius in this one.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite. I'm going to be honest. It's
Well,
either that or Venom. What about you, buddy?
This is why we're friends, buddy.
Oh.
I tell you what, I'm in the same boat, to be
Really?
honest. Like, well, first of all, this is in no means a good movie. It's like, it's
Yeah.
fine. But of those movies, like, Morbius is down to the ground.
It's like
below.
comparing your redheaded children. They're all going to be bad, but it's about choosing the least bad.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, like, there were some parts, like, the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool.
Same.
He's in the jail, and he's, like, infiltrating. I was like, I'm about it. This is nice. Of the Sony ones, it's really not that bad. I'd put it on par with Venom 3. I think Venom 3 was my favorite. Venom 1 or 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's up there. But it's definitely not as bad as I thought it would be. Short answer.
Yes.
And there are some, like, actually fun parts to it. Maybe we can get into the pros later.
Yeah.
But let's get into the meat and potatoes, the fun stuff of this episode. I got notes. I got cons coming out my ears here. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven. I have here constant cool guy face.
Yeah.
The audience can't see my face, but he's squinting. He's got one eyebrow up, mewing, as the kids would say, just constantly. That's his whole face. And what I come to realize is that this movie was written by nerds who, they said, what does a cool guy look like at all times? It's probably this. And Chris, as a cool guy myself, I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's got no character development. He hates people at the beginning of the movie and he hates people at the end. Like,
Yeah.
the only journey he goes on is getting that lion blood in his open wounds. And that's pretty much it. Again, not expecting much out of these kinds of movies. But I didn't hate Aaron Taylor Johnson in it. I feel like with a better script, he would have been good. But there were parts where it was just like, all right, I can kind of hear your British accent peeking through a little bit. And so what'd you think of Aaron and his Johnson?
I thought he was Aaron and his Johnson. Yeah, I thought he was fine. Like, I thought the action I thought he did fun. You know, he looked nice, real chiseled. There was some bad acting, not specific to him, but throughout, where it's just like some of the dialogue. I'm like, I didn't check, but it definitely seemed like the same writers as Madam Web with some of the lines where I'm like, all right.
Another prime example of ADR.
That does make sense, yeah.
I have in my notes Russell Crowe and his little ascot doing his best Ivan Drago impression.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much, he's got a cute little ascot when you meet him. He was fine, I guess, but it just didn't really add anything. What was up with that foreigner guy? His name is the Foreigner.
Yeah, I hated him.
Can you explain that? You're an authority on Spider-Man.
I never heard of him.
Lore.
And he was kind of pointless. Like, his power was if he looks at you, you like can't see him for 2 seconds or something.
Was that his power? I thought he's just fast.
I thought it was like you had to look at his eyes.
Oh, that's right, because the Rhino was like, let me take off them glasses, boy.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I wrote it down. This was one of my pros, because this was a part I laughed, but I'll give you a little sneak peek. He said, will your trick still work when I rip your eyes out of your head? And then the Foreigner just says, relax. And then it cuts to the next scene.
Mucho, take it easy.
Take it easy. Just relax. No other words. Next scene.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with his eyes because he always like pulls down his. But I still don't really know because it like makes it so they freeze. But he always counts like one, and then he's behind him.
Listeners, comment below if you understood what was happening, or if you know.
I never heard of him. I thought that character was kind of pointless. Like, you already have Rhino, who's your villain. Like, you didn't really need that guy. He didn't really add anything to it. And he wasn't cool, and it was pointless.
You know what else was pointless? And I feel bad for the actor. I think her name's Ariana DeBose or something.
Oh, is that the girl from The Bear?
Don't you dare.
Throwback here.
Her God-given name is Calypso.
Yeah. I release you from your human bones.
Her character, I don't understand. That must have been a 11th hour introduction, because there must have been a mandate from the studio that was like, hey, can we get a female in there? It doesn't matter what she does, just as long as she's there.
Well, is she like a superhero?
I think she's a Kraven's girlfriend or something sometimes in the comics.
Oh, because I never heard of her, but because she shoots someone with an arrow and he's like, well, you learned that at scout camp or whatever. And she's like, there's a lot you don't know about me. It's like, oh, she's actually some superhero, but I never heard of her.
Yeah.
And they don't really say anything else. But maybe if you're a big fan of the franchise, you're like, oh, man, that's so-and-so. I guess Calypso is probably her name.
Her character was all over the place because she's a high-rise, big, fat attorney in London.
Mm-hmm.
She's also dabbles in African
voodoo. Yeah.
And then she's an expert marksman.
Yeah.
Like, pick a lane, people. There's a part in the movie where she's walking to Kraven's house and Kraven's like, we're being hunted. And he gets just mauled by a freaking leopard. And she could not be bothered. She thought, she looked at it like it was a couple of toddlers playing in sand. And then he fights him and he's like, you don't hunt me or whatever he says. Yeah. And then she's like, that was weird. No reaction.
Yeah, she's just like, wow,
absolutely nothing.
Making me wait, huh?
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I felt bad for that actress because she's a good actress. And did you notice once she shot that guy in the head, just never came back? Nothing. Yeah. Just nothing. Yeah. The studio was like, you have to have her in there. But once she's done with her thing, just forget it. Just let her go. Yeah. That was,
Doesn't make sense.
Also, did she bring that outfit with her? Remember that little leather getup she had?
When she shot him?
Yeah. Because remember she changed into her she was wearing normal people clothes, and then when Kraven was getting attacked, she changed into that thing. I
didn't notice. Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway, what other cons you got?
The CGI is pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. It was bold of them. They got a lot of animals. Yeah. They tried to do.
CGI was bad. Effects were bad. So yeah, animals weren't looking great. And there's a part where in the very beginning, he's running away from the prison and he's on the roof. It's like Russia, so there's a bunch of snow, but it looks like he's running in that packing peanuts.
Packing peanuts?
Yeah, doesn't that look like? I was like, that's not snow, right? Snow doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that and fighting. I like the action, but some of them were he's getting hit by something and he flips, or when he's climbing up a building, it just looks unnatural. And I mentioned it earlier, but they just keep showing those freaking yellow eyes. And I'm like, all right, we get it, man. You don't need to show it so often. He has the lion's eyes.
Again, written by nerds who are like, I'm going to write a movie where he can change his eye color whenever he wants.
Yeah. I do have a question. What's going on? Is Russell Crowe okay? He's been in a lot of movies. He's getting a little Nicolas Cagey, if you know what I mean.
He's coming into his Liam Neeson.
He sure is. Because I was looking at his IMDb and this year alone, he's been in 4 movies. They're still big movies. I'm sure he's getting a good chunk of change, but he really hasn't been in a good movie since Nice Guys. That was good. But besides that, you have to go back to 2007, American Gangster. He hasn't really been in a lot of good movies, I'd say. Recently.
He's got to pay the bills somehow, man.
But he did have that peak early 2000s. I remember people were like, he's the best actor, or one of the best, because he was off, Gladiator, Master and Commander. We're talking that one where he goes insane and he's a real
beautiful
smart guy. And
the one where he's a Cinderella man.
Cinderella man. And now we're talking Thor 4. We're talking... He's some exorcism. He's another exorcist dude.
Was he 2 exorcising priests in this year?
I don't know if it was. I thought different it was the same character, but I think it's different ones. Yeah, one's the Pope's exorcist, and the other's the exorcism. Maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe Russell, are you with us?
Fighting some demons on both ends.
Just call me Legion.
I have one. I'm affectionately calling it Cravenito. Little Kraven.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Chameleon. Chris touched over it, but at the end, Kraven's sitting down with his brother, a little sniveling little gross boy.
Yes.
They're at a bar, and he's like, for some reason, I hate you now, Kraven, because I went to New York, and now I'm better. What doctor did he go to? It wasn't Dr. Connors. He name-dropped someone.
Did he? I thought he just said there was a nice doctor in New York.
I could have sworn he said Dr. something. No, he's like some just generic name, but
what other
there's like
doc?
probably a reference to something. And he went to New York to get his powers expanded because in the movie he has a slightly less impressive superpower than Kraven,
Yeah.
insofar as he can mimic people's voices.
He can do good impressions, basically.
Yeah, quite funny at times because he does an impression of Russell Crowe at the beginning, and I was like,
Yeah. Did they
What?
mess up the editing
Yeah, it's
here?
like-
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I was like, did he what? So it's a little funny, but essentially he was Kraven's brother born a mannequin, or did he change into a mannequin?
Is that what
Did
they're
you
called?
remember-
The alien thing?
I'm just because he looked like a
Oh,
mannequin.
he'll-
I don't know what
Oh.
what it's called. Is he an alien? I don't understand what it was.
I always
Tell me.
thought
Pray
Chameleon
tell.
was an alien, but I never knew his backstory. But this, it makes it seem like he got turned into
That's kind of what I see. Yeah,
the chameleon.
maybe Russell got it on with an alien.
But they definitely hint to it like early in the movie, which
Mhm.
is another con, I guess, is it feels like you're watching a cartoon. Like, you know, when you watch the cartoon Spider-Man, it's like, oh, here's Kraven. And then it'll just like stop and it'll do a flashback and be like,
Yeah.
the
Here's a flashback episode.
the whole this is exactly it. Whereas like
Mhm.
most like movies now, it's like, oh, they'll use dialogue and blah blah blah, but this one's just like, let's stop everything, here's exactly what happens. Oh, that guy's talking to Rhino, why do you do that, why is that? And he's like, well, actually I went to I was weak and I did this, like exactly point
Yeah.
for point. And there's something where it's like, oh yeah, he's a real chameleon before that. And then at the end, oh yeah, I went to this doctor. He really helped me out here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it's not a kid's movie because it's violent and bloody. But
Yeah.
it makes me wonder if they did a test screen where they just like, oh, we kind of forgot to go over any of this. Maybe we'll just add it in post where we're just like, oh, all right. You got to tell exactly what this is.
Yeah, it's an issue of they didn't trust the audience that they would be smart enough to read their minds on stuff, but also they didn't give enough clues on. So it's kind of both ends.
Yeah.
Where... But going back to Kravenito, there's a moment where his brother Chameleon is walking away, and Kraven's like, "Hey, come back here!" He spins him around, and it's none other than Kraven looking back at himself. However, he's a foot shorter.
Yeah.
And his head is like twice as big. It looks hilarious because it just is Lil Kraven looking back at him. And I thought to myself, this guy can't function as a normal supervillain or superhero because if he had to mimic somebody who's an inch taller than him even,
Yeah.
people would be like, hey, Dave,
Yeah. Hey, what's something's off here?
Dave's not 5'6". Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't work at all. Very funny. That was the funniest part towards the end, just seeing him turn into that. But also going back, too long. Movie was too
Yeah.
long. I didn't like it. I thought it was going to be a crisp, much more better pace than it was. They spend way too long talking about his backstory. They spent like 40 minutes in Africa
Yep.
getting mauled by that tiger. And I said, let's move it along
let's
at the
push
interest
this
of
through
time.
here.
Yeah, a lot of funny moments. I have in my notes Rhino yelling in lowercase. Do you remember that bit?
Oh,
He's like,
yeah. That was like the whole theater was just like quiet and
What was
waiting,
that?
and then everyone just like kind of let out a laugh at the like, is this?
is that supposed to be funny?
Yeah. There's a lot of those where the theater was laughing like more than most movies I've seen. And I don't know if it was on purpose or not for the Kraven director by any means, but
They had some plants in your theater.
yeah, that was one of the ones I wrote down. I had the Jaguar one, and then another one is Kraven. At the end, he's gets shot by some dart. Another thing that they really explain to you, like you're a 2-year-old, because the
Like 4
the
times.
foreigner's talking to the Rhino, and he's like, normal darts don't work on him. I got these special darts that will make him see his biggest nightmares, and then he'll slowly die at the end. And then Rhino's like, I like your style. And then anyways, he shoots him with one of those, so he's kind of hallucinating. And then Kraven thinks he's punching the foreigner in the face, but then it turns out it was just a log. And then the foreigner just behind him says, you give him hell. I just remember thinking that was kind of funny. Just
In a better movie, that could have worked.
I mean, I laughed, but it's just a lot of those silly things where I'm like, this is funny. Like some of them, it's definitely funnier than most of probably all the Sony ones, but
Yeah.
I'd say maybe a 25 to 75 ratio of what they meant to be funny versus just something dumb that makes you laugh.
Yeah.
It did have pretty good action. I mean, it was fun action.
Ooh, you want to get in some pros?
Oh, I thought we were doing the pros.
Oh,
Do you got
okay.
any other cons? I'll let you.
No, we can move on to the pros because, yeah,
It's
actions was good.
It's my type of film. It's like a action film. There's a good amount of action in it, revenge, and so it's got some fun action there. I like the end fight where they're hunting Kraven and they're in the woods and they're setting these traps and he goes ham on them. He moves the traps. They step on it. Some guy, I think, steps on 2 traps and gets pulled in, spliced by a log, and
oh yeah,
a bunch
Gets,
of those type of things.
Yeah.
Pretty good scenes. Like I said, effects aren't the best, but it's still entertaining. A lot of this action here.
I feel like they just wanted to make it rated R with the CGI blood because if you take that out, it would have been PG-13, basically, right?
Yeah, I think
there's
pretty
nothing
much.
else really. But yeah, fight scenes were actually done pretty well. Like the first one where he's in the prison. There's a bit where he's creeping, he's sneaking into
I like that.
a monastery. He's literally just right behind the dude and just like a little spider behind him and matching his footsteps so he doesn't make any noise. I was like, oh, okay. That's pretty cool. He's like detective mode in Batman Arkham. So I like that bit. I feel like Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's a good actor. And with a better script, it could have been something, you know, because he does pretty good. Better script and tighten up the screws on that accent would have been nice.
Yeah.
I do like that they had some good representation here. I'm all about that. They had a couple folks on varying sides of the spectrum of the tism. You got Rhino and you got his brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, surely these people... They got something. I tell you what, it was funny. And also, like it or hate it, the fact is we got the best on-screen Rhino we've ever had. And that's a fact.
I think you're onto something. It's just the 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Paul
The mech suit, or
Giamatti
this one, and Billy.
Billy.
It looked bad 90% of the time, but I applaud him for actually trying to do it, you know, comic accurate. Like you said, the fight at the end was pretty good where he stabs him in his colonoscopy hole or whatever.
Yes.
And I got to give it to them. They did something different than most other Sony Universe movies where they had the villain not the exact same power set as the hero. It's close.
Yeah.
It's not the same. So good on you for trying slightly harder than your counterparts.
Yes, thank you for that. I liked Rhino's voice. I don't know why. Billy's voice, at first it was silly, but it just kind of grew on me. I just liked hearing him talk. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But I just
maybe a little.
I liked his voice. I liked his character. I mean, he was kind of weird and all that, but I liked it when he talked. I don't know. It just made me feel good.
Okay.
I guess that's, I mean, I don't know why, but that really it just was a pro for me. It's not a good movie. It's one of those like fun, bad movies, but I wouldn't even say it's a bad movie, but it's kind of like that type of genre where I'm like, if you're watching it to be like, oh, study film or anything, obviously it's not that great, but it's an enjoyable. I think if you watch it with a couple of buds, or if you like movies like this, like I do, it's fun. Like I wouldn't pay money to watch it, but if it's on Netflix or something, honestly, it's not going to crack my top 10 or anything, but it's not my top 10 worst. Like a lot of people are saying, it's like a fine movie, better than Hot Frosty, if you ask me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's kind of it's a fast food, you know, indulge yourself. If you got a craving for that, if you got a itching for some Taco Bell at 3 a.m. and you get a good, you know, cook behind the line, it's kind of like that. So
yeah,
that's all I got. If you've seen it, let us know what you think.
How long are you standing and clapping?
Ooh, maybe 3 minutes? Is that too much?
I'm thinking 3.
Yeah.
At least 3, maybe. Yeah, I give it 3.
I like the fight scenes.
I do too.
I like them. Let us know what you think, listeners. I think we're going to publish this tomorrow, and then we're going to be talking Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim next, and then look out for our best of 2024 or 2024 awards coming out after that as well. So if you have any more suggestions of what you want us to see in the coming weeks, let us know. Chris, where can they find us at?
Find us on LinkedIn, on X, Snapchat, on Spotify. We're talking Amazon Prime, Newegg, Facebook, everything.
Everything and everything. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pop, 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 pop.
This is the
Stale popcorn. Breakfast. Popcorn.
Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other one has to say. Reminiscing this and that and having such a good time. Oodle-lally, golly, what a day. Oodle-lally, fortune tellers. Oodle-lally, fortune favors the brave. Remember, Matt Damon, when you lied to us, fortune favors the brave in that crypto scam. Oodle-lally.